Now, each day this week, we're basing what we're talking about on Psalm 96:2, which says, each day tell someone that he saves. And we're looking at your life message, what God wants to say through you to the world. And specifically today, I want to give you the four parts of a testimony that you can start working on this. I'll give you specifics in the next day, tomorrow, but today, here are the four parts of your testimony. You might write these down. Number one, the first part of your testimony is, what was my life like before I met Christ? What was my life like before I met Christ? In other words, what were the common circumstances that other people would identify with? You don't have to have a scandal or a spectacular or sensational story. Just what are the common circumstances that unbelievers would identify with? What were your attitudes that an unbeliever would identify with? And what was most important to you? What was the substitute for God in your life? Were you trying to find meaning through sports and fitness, or success at work, or through marriage, or sex, or making money? Were you trying to find meaning through having fun, or entertainment, or drugs, or alcohol, or popularity, hobbies? What was my life before I met Christ? The second part, write this down, is how I realized I needed Christ. In other words, what were the circumstances that caused you to go, man, I have this hole in my heart? What significant steps led to your conversion? What were the needs or the hurts or the problems that made you dissatisfied? Have you ever thought this thing through? See, the longer you're a Christian, the less you think like a non-Christian. You forget the way you felt before you were living without God. How did God get your attention? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. How did God get your attention? What was my life before Christ? How did I realize I needed Christ? The third part of a testimony is how I committed my life to Christ. What did you do specifically? Where did it happen? When did it happen? What did you say in a prayer? You need to be specific. And then the fourth part of a testimony, write this down, and this is the most important part, is the difference it's made in my life. What benefits have you experienced or felt? What problems have been resolved? How has Jesus helped you change for the better? How has it helped you in relationships? Give a specific example. Now, tomorrow we're going to talk about the testimony pyramid, that you spend the least amount of time on number one, more time on part two, a little bit more on point three, and you spend the most on the last point, but you can do it all in about 90 seconds. Start working on your testimony today, and tomorrow we'll come back with some extra tips on how to do that. God bless you, everybody.